Welcome back to the news at 6. We're joined now live by Governor Abbott from Austin. Thank you for joining us today, Governor.
Sure, my pleasure. Thank you all.
Now, Governor, South Texas is home to one of the nation's hotspots, while other areas of Texas appear to be seeing fewer cases. How do you assess Texas as a whole in fighting coronavirus?
So if you look at what has happened over the course of the past month, it goes back literally a month ago when I imposed the mask requirement in Texas. And the beginning 2 weeks after that, you begin to see a decline in the number of cases, a decline in the number of hospitalizations, and we've seen about a 2-week decline in the number of active cases of COVID in Texas. So the numbers are moving in the right direction, but there's one reason for that, and that's because Texans have taken COVID very seriously. Everyone must understand COVID-19 still exists in Texas. It can still transmit rapidly in Texas. The only thing right now that can stop it is good decision making by Texans to wear a mask, keep your distance, stay at home if possible.
Now, some local bar and brewery owners have expressed concerns about surviving the pandemic. Do you have a timeline for reopening those establishments?
I'm very concerned about those establishments as well as any business that is struggling right now. And we want to try to open up all businesses as fully as possible, as quickly as possible. Let me give you some metrics that cause us to go into the closure of the bars and maybe some metrics that can open them back up. So we had, when we opened up, our positivity rate of people testing positive who were tested was about 4%. That skyrocketed to 17% just a few weeks ago. Since a few weeks ago until now, it's declined from 17% down to 12%. 10% is kind of the marker line. It was at 10% that we had to lock down bars as well as require the wearing of face mask. And if we can get below 10% and maintain that level below 10%, it may mean that we will be able to loosen up some of the standards a little bit and allow more people to go back to work.
We did ask some of our viewers questions they wanted to ask you. A common one was nursing homes. When do you think visitors will be re-allowed to go see their loved ones?
Our team has been working daily with legislators as well as with members of the Health and Human Services Commission on establishing standards so that we can safely open up those nursing homes without causing catastrophic deaths like what happened in New York and some other states. And I anticipate an announcement being made in the coming days, maybe as early next week, talking about ways in which nursing homes can be opened up so that loved ones will be able to go visit them.
I know you recently announced the state will supply PPE to schools for free. How feasible is that, and how soon do you see that happening?
Well, the process of providing schools with PPE has already begun. I'm working off memory here, so excuse me if I get this wrong. I think the Texas Division of Emergency Management has shipped out more than 60 million face masks, about 560,000 gallons of hand sanitizer, and that supply chain just will continue to go throughout the entire school year, making sure that all of our schools have access to the PPE supplies they need.
And I know you said you want to give schools some flexibility as students and teachers return to campus, but if an outbreak happens when schools reopen, at what point would you step in?
Well, the first level of stepping in will be done by two other authorities. The first authority, with primary authority over opening and closing schools, will be the local school district. And what is built into the system flexibility-wise already is that if someone does test positive in a school, the school does have the option of closing the school for up to 5 days to sanitize the school, to stabilize the entire system, to make sure that people can return safely. In addition to that, local public health authorities have the ability to issue a school closure notification. And then on top of that, obviously, I would retain the ability to make sure that closures would take place if necessary. But we really are putting our trust and confidence in the local school leaders, knowing they know what is best for their particular district.
Absolutely. Now, Amarillo was once considered a hot spot. How do we kind of shape up or compare to the rest of the state?
Listen, Amarillo in the region really is an example of both the resilience and the responsiveness of the way that you overcome the challenges of COVID. Obviously, Amarillo and the region was one of the early hotspot zones. And we worked with Amarillo, and we collectively surged resources to the region to conduct robust testing and to stabilize the spread of COVID-19 in the area. We are doing that with other regions in the state of Texas as we speak, but we always use Amarillo as the example of what other regions can live up to, showing that it can be done, that COVID-19 can be contained, and we applaud and we are proud of the way that people at Amarillo did respond so effectively.
As far as testing goes, has the turnaround time improved?
So there were times when it would take a week or even longer to get results from a test, and one reason for that is because we were relying upon private labs outside the state that were moving at a snail's pace. Now we are relying upon labs that we have in the state of Texas that have been able to provide much quicker turnaround. We're typically getting a turnaround in 24 to 48 hours, and we look to accelerate that even more. I'll give you one quick example, in an issue that you brought up earlier, and that is the part of the process of opening up nursing homes is the fact that we will have at nursing homes testing capability that will give an immediate turnaround about whether or not you test positive or test negative for COVID-19. So it won't be 24 hours anymore. It will be about 15 minutes in some locations in the future.
All right. Well, I believe that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us today, Governor.
Thank you all, and everybody be safe.